Dan dan dan. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm very happy. So today I want to talk with you about special topic. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about how to speak to people in English. Speaking English can feel hard at first, but with practice, you can get better. The key is to start with simple words and sentences. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's normal to make mistakes when you are learning something new. The most important thing is to try. When you talk to someone in English, start with a smile. A smile shows that you are friendly and that you want to talk. Smiling can help you feel more relaxed, and it makes the other person feel comfortable too. It's always a good idea to be polite. Politeness helps you to make a good impression, and people will be happy to talk to you. When you meet someone for the first time, you can start by saying hello or hi. These are very common greetings. After that, you can ask, "How are you?" This is a simple way to show that you care about how the other person is feeling. They may reply with, "I'm fine, thank you," or "I'm good." After they answer, it's nice to say, "And you?" This shows that you are interested in how they feel too. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can ask simple questions. For example, you can ask, "What's your name?" or "Where are you from?" People like to talk about themselves, and these questions are a good way to learn more about them. Asking questions also helps you to keep talking without feeling nervous. Another good question is, "What do you do?" This means you are asking about the other person's job or what they study. They might say, "I am a student," or "I work in a store." You can then ask, "Do you like your job?" or "What do you study?" These are easy questions, and they help you learn more about the other person. When someone asks you a question, remember to answer with a short, simple sentence. For example, if they ask, "Where are you from?" you can say, "I am from Japan," or "I am from Brazil." After answering, you can ask the same question back to them. You could say, "And you? Where are you from?" This keeps the conversation moving. Sometimes it's good to talk about the weather. The weather is a topic everyone can talk about. You can say, "It's a nice day," or "It's very cold today." The other person might agree with you, and then you can continue talking. If they say something about the weather, try to respond with a simple sentence. For example, if they say, "It's hot today," you can reply, "Yes, it is." If you want to talk about your interests, you can use simple phrases like, "I like music," or "I like to play soccer." If the other person also likes music or soccer, you can talk more about it. You can ask, "What music do you like?" or "Do you play soccer?" Talking about hobbies is a great way to make friends and keep a conversation going. When you are talking to someone, it's important to listen carefully. Listening is just as important as speaking. If you don't understand something, it's okay to ask them to repeat it. You can say, "Can you say that again, please?" or "Sorry, I didn't understand." People will not mind if you ask them to repeat. They know you are learning, and they will be happy to help. If you don't know how to say something, try to use simple words. You don't need to use difficult words when you are learning. For example, if you don't know the word for delicious, you can say, "The food is very good." People will still understand what you mean. It's okay to keep things simple when you're learning. Also, don't be afraid of silence. Sometimes, when you're talking, there might be a short pause. This is normal, and it gives you time to think. You don't have to rush when you're speaking. Take your time and try to say what you want. The other person will wait for you, and they will understand that you are learning. If you are not sure how to end a conversation, you can say, "It was nice talking to you," or "I have to go now." These are polite ways to end a conversation. You can also say, "See you later," or "Goodbye" before you leave. If you are talking to someone new, this will leave a good impression. It's a good idea to practice speaking English as much as you can. The more you practice, the easier it will become. Try to find people who also want to learn English and you can practice together. You can also practice by listening to English videos or songs. This will help you hear how words are pronounced, and you can try to say them too. When you are talking to people, don't worry if you don't know all the words. You don't need a big vocabulary to start speaking English. Even if you know only a few words, you can still have a conversation. Start with what you know, and slowly you will learn more words as you keep practicing. Remember, the more you speak, the more confident you will become. At first, you may feel shy or nervous, but that's okay. Everyone feels that way when they are learning a new language. Just keep trying, and little by little, you will improve. Don't give up. In the end, speaking English is all about communication. It's not about being perfect. It's about being able to talk to others and share your ideas. People will understand that you are learning, and they will appreciate your efforts. So, be patient with yourself and keep practicing. With time, you will become better at speaking English, and it will become more natural for you. Now, let's talk about how to keep a conversation going in English. When you are speaking to someone, it's important to ask questions. Questions help the conversation continue. They also show that you are interested in the other person. Asking questions is easy when you use simple words. For example, you can ask, "Do you like coffee?" or "Do you have a pet?" These are easy questions that anyone can answer. The other person might say, "Yes, I like coffee," or "No, I don't have a pet." You can then say something like, "I like coffee too," or "I have a dog." This helps you share something about yourself, and the other person can learn more about you. Another good question to ask is about people's free time. You can ask, "What do you do in your free time?" This means you are asking what the person likes to do when they are not working or studying. The other person might say, "I like to read books," or "I like to watch movies." Then, you can ask more questions like, "What kind of books do you read?" or "What is your favorite movie?" These questions help the conversation grow. You don't need to ask big or difficult questions. Simple questions like these are good because they are easy to understand and they make the conversation interesting. Talking about family is also a nice way to start a conversation. People often like to talk about their family. You can ask, "Do you have brothers or sisters?" The person might answer, "Yes, I have one brother," or "No, I don't have any brothers or sisters." After they answer, you can tell them about your family. For example, you can say, "I have 2 sisters," or "I have a big family." Talking about family helps people feel close, and it's a topic that many people enjoy discussing. If you don't know what to say, that's okay. Sometimes it can be hard to think of new questions. If you feel stuck, just take a deep breath. You can repeat something the other person said. For example, if they say, "I like to travel," you can say, "Oh, you like to travel." This shows that you are listening, and it helps the other person keep talking. They might tell you more about the places they have visited or the places they want to go. Repeating what the other person says is a good way to keep the conversation going. especially when you don't know what to say next. Let's talk about speaking clearly. When you are talking to someone, it's important to speak clearly so they can understand you. You don't need to speak very fast. In fact, speaking slowly is a good idea when you are learning English. This gives you time to think about what you want to say, and it also helps the other person understand you better. Don't worry if you feel like you are speaking too slowly. It's better to speak slowly and clearly than to speak quickly and make mistakes. Pronunciation is also important when you are speaking English. Pronunciation means how you say the words. Sometimes, English words can be difficult to pronounce. If you are not sure how to say a word, you can ask the other person. You can say, "How do you say this word?" Or, "Can you help me with my pronunciation?" People are usually happy to help, and they will tell you how to say the word correctly. Over time, your pronunciation will get better with practice. When you are talking to someone, it's good to make eye contact. Eye contact means looking at the person's face, especially their eyes, while you are speaking. This shows that you are paying attention, and it helps the conversation feel more personal. In some cultures, people do not make much eye contact, but in English-speaking countries, eye contact is usually seen as polite. If you feel shy, you don't have to look at the person all the time. You can look away for a few seconds and then look back at them. The important thing is to show that you are listening and that you care about what the other person is saying. Another way to show that you are listening is to nod your head. When the other person is speaking, you can nod your head to show that you understand. This is a simple way to communicate without using words. You can also say yes or I see while the other person is talking. These small words show that you are listening and following the conversation. Sometimes, when you are talking to someone, you might not understand everything they say. This is okay. It's normal to have trouble understanding when you are learning a new language. If you don't understand, don't be afraid to ask for help. You can say, "I'm sorry, can you repeat that?" Or, "Can you speak more slowly, please?" Most people will be happy to help you by speaking more slowly or saying the sentence again. It's also important to remember that you don't have to understand every single word. Even native English speakers don't always understand every word in a conversation. What's more important is understanding the general meaning of what the person is saying. If you miss a word or two, that's okay. Try to focus on the main idea of the conversation. With practice, you will start to understand more and more. When you are talking, it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning a new language. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Don't feel embarrassed if you say something wrong. The other person will understand that you are learning, and they won't mind. In fact, they might even help you by correcting your mistake. For example, if you say, "I go to the store," the other person might say, "Oh, you mean I went to the store." This is helpful because it shows you the correct way to say it. Don't feel bad about making mistakes. Each mistake is a chance to learn something new. Another good way to improve your English is to practice with different people. Each person speaks a little differently, so talking to many different people can help you get used to different speaking styles. Some people speak fast, and some people speak slowly. Some people use a lot of short words, while others might use longer, more difficult words. By practicing with many people, you can learn to understand different types of English. You can also improve your speaking skills by listening to how different people talk. Listening is a big part of learning how to talk in English. The more you listen, the better you will become at speaking. When you listen to other people, pay attention to the words they use and how they put sentences together. Try to repeat some of the things they say in your own conversations. This will help you remember new words and phrases. You can also listen to English on TV, in movies, or in songs. Even if you don't understand everything, listening helps you get used to the sound of the language. If you are watching a TV show or movie in English, you can turn on the subtitles. Subtitles are the words that appear at the bottom of the screen while the characters are speaking. This can help you follow the conversation and learn new words. After watching the show with subtitles, you can try watching it again without them. This will help you practice understanding spoken English without needing to read the words. You can also practice your English by talking to yourself. This might sound strange, but it's a great way to practice. You can practice simple conversations in your head or out loud. For example, you can imagine you were talking to a friend and then practice what you would say. You can also describe things around you in English. For example, if you are at home, you can say, "This is my kitchen," or "I am sitting on a chair." Practicing in this way helps you get more comfortable with speaking English, and you can do it any time, even when you are alone. Let's talk a little more about asking for help. When you are learning English, it's okay to ask people for help. If you don't know a word, you can say, "What does this word mean?" Or, "How do you say this in English?" People will usually be happy to help you. It's also a good idea to carry a small notebook with you. If someone teaches you a new word, you can write it down so you can remember it later. Writing things down helps you remember them better, and you can look at your notes whenever you need to. In English, there are many ways to say the same thing. For example, if you want to ask someone if they are okay, you can say, "Are you okay?" or "How are you doing?" or "Is everything all right?" These are all polite ways to check on someone. Don't worry if you don't know all the different ways to say something. Start with the phrases you know and slowly learn new ones. As you practice, you will get better at using different phrases. When you are speaking, try to use simple words. Simple words are easier for you to remember, and they are also easier for the other person to understand. You don't need to use big or difficult words to have a good conversation. For example, instead of saying, "I am famished," you can say, "I am very hungry." Both sentences mean the same thing, but the second one is easier to understand. Using simple words also makes it easier for you to focus on the conversation and not worry too much about your vocabulary. If you are not sure how to say something, you can try using other words to explain it. This is called paraphrasing. For example, if you don't know the word for library, you can say, "The place where you go to read books." The other person will understand what you mean, and this helps you keep talking without stopping the conversation. Paraphrasing is a great skill to have when you are learning a new language because it helps you communicate even when you don't know all the words. Speaking English is like any other skill. It gets better with practice. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. You can practice by talking to friends, classmates, or even strangers. If you are shy, you can start by practicing with people you know well. As you get more comfortable, you can try talking to new people. It's okay to feel nervous at first. Everyone feels a little nervous when they are learning something new. Just remember that the more you practice, the easier it will get. So they are easier to understand. When you read, try to say the words out loud. This will help you practice your pronunciation. If you see a word you don't know, you can write it down and look it up later. Then try to use the new word in your own sentences. Reading is a great way to learn new vocabulary, and see how words are used in context. If you like writing, you can keep a diary in English. Every day, you can write a few sentences about what you did or how you feel. For example, you can write, "Today I went to the park," or "I feel happy because it is sunny." Writing helps you practice using English, and it also helps you organize your thoughts. You don't have to write a lot. Even writing a few sentences every day will help you improve. Over time, you will see how much better your writing becomes. When you talk to someone in English, try to speak slowly and clearly. Don't worry about speaking fast. It's better to take your time and say the words correctly. Speaking slowly also gives you more time to think about what you want to say. It's normal to pause and think during a conversation. You don't need to rush. The other person will understand that you are learning, and they will be patient with you. Sometimes when you are speaking, you might forget a word. This happens to everyone, even people who speak English as their first language. If you forget a word, don't panic. You can describe what you mean in a different way. For example, if you forget the word restaurant, you can say, "the place where people go to eat." The other person will understand what you mean, and this will help keep the conversation going. Describing things in different ways is a useful skill when you are learning a new language. Another important tip is to listen carefully when other people are speaking. Listening is just as important as speaking. When you listen carefully, you learn new words and phrases, and you also see how sentences are structured. If you don't understand something, it's okay to ask. You can say, "Can you repeat that, please?" Or, "I didn't understand. Can you say it again?" People will not mind repeating things for you. They will understand that you are learning, and they will be happy to help. It's a good idea to practice with different people. Each person speaks a little differently, and this will help you get used to hearing different accents and speaking styles. Some people speak very fast, while others speak more slowly. Some people use a lot of slang or casual words, while others use more formal language. By practicing with different people, you will learn how to understand different types of English. This will also help you become more confident in your speaking. When you are learning English, it's important to celebrate your progress. Every time you learn a new word or use a new sentence, you are improving. It's easy to feel like you are not learning fast enough, but remember that every little step is progress. Even if you learn just one new word a day, by the end of the year, you will know over 300 new words. So don't be too hard on yourself. Be proud of what you have learned and keep moving forward. It's also helpful to set small goals for yourself. For example, you can set a goal to learn 5 new words this week or to have one short conversation in English every day. Setting small goals makes learning more manageable, and it gives you something to work towards. When you reach your goal, you will feel proud of yourself, and this will motivate you to keep learning. Another tip is to use English in your daily life as much as possible. The more you use English, the more comfortable you will become with it. You can label things in your house with their English names. For example, you can put a label on your refrigerator that says refrigerator, or on your door that says door. This helps you learn new words and keeps English in your mind throughout the day. You can also try thinking in English. This is a great way to practice when you are alone. For example, when you are walking or sitting quietly, try to think about what you are doing in English. You can say in your mind, "I am walking to the store," or "I am drinking coffee." Thinking in English helps you get used to the language, and it makes speaking easier when you are talking to someone else. If you have friends who are also learning English, you can practice together. You can have simple conversations with each other, and you can help each other when you make mistakes. Learning with a friend is fun because you can encourage each other and share new words and phrases that you learn. You can also correct each other's mistakes in a friendly way, which helps you both improve. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes when you are learning. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. Don't be afraid to make mistakes when you are speaking. The important thing is to keep trying. People will understand that you are learning and they will be patient with you. I am cutting vegetables, or when you are walking, you can say, I am going to the store. Speaking out loud helps you get used to forming the words with your mouth. It also helps you practice pronunciation and speaking clearly. You can also talk about your daily activities in English. For example, you can say, I woke up at 7 a.m., or I am having breakfast. This helps you practice using English in real-life situations. The more you practice, the more comfortable you will become with using English in your everyday life. If you are shy or nervous about speaking to other people, it can help to practice in front of a mirror. Stand in front of the mirror and pretend you are talking to someone. You can practice introducing yourself or asking simple questions. This helps you become more confident, and it helps you get used to seeing yourself speak. Practicing in front of a mirror is a good way to build your confidence before you speak to others. Another way to practice is to read simple books in English. You don't need to start with difficult books. You can choose short stories or books for beginners. Reading helps you learn new words and understand how sentences are structured. When you read, try to say the words out loud. This helps you practice pronunciation and speaking clearly. If you find a word you don't know, write it down and look it up later. Writing in English is also a good way to practice. You don't need to write long essays. You can start by writing short sentences about your day. For example, you can write, Today I went to the park, or I am happy because it is sunny. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and practice using English. It also helps you remember new words and how to use them in sentences. If you have friends who are learning English, you can practice together. You can take turns asking each other questions and answering them. For example, you can ask, What did you do today? And your friend can answer, I went to the store. Practicing with a friend makes learning more fun. You can help each other by correcting mistakes and sharing new words. It's also a good way to build your confidence because you know your friend is learning too. Another thing to remember when learning English is to be patient with yourself. Learning a new language takes time. You won't learn everything in one day. Some days you might feel like you are making a lot of progress, and other days you might feel like you are stuck. This is normal. The important thing is to keep practicing, even when it feels difficult. Don't give up. Every day you practice, you're getting better, even if it doesn't always feel like it. It's also helpful to set small goals for yourself. For example, you can set a goal to learn 5 new words this week, or to have one short conversation in English every day. Setting small goals helps you stay focused and gives you something to work towards. When you reach your goal, you will feel proud of yourself, and this will motivate you to keep going. A fun way to practice English is by watching TV shows or movies in English. When you watch something in English, you hear how people speak in real-life situations. You can listen to how they ask questions, how they answer, and how they use words in different situations. If you don't understand everything, that's okay. You don't need to understand every word. Just focus on the main ideas. You can also turn on subtitles to help you understand. After watching, you can try to repeat some of the sentences you heard. This will help you remember new words and phrases. Another fun way to learn English is by listening to music. You can listen to songs in English and try to sing along. Music helps you learn the rhythm of the language and improves your pronunciation. You can start with simple songs that have easy words. As you get better, you can try listening to more difficult songs. Singing along to music is a fun way to practice speaking and helps make learning more enjoyable. You can also practice English by talking to yourself. For example, when you are doing something simple like cooking or cleaning, you can say what you are doing in English. You can say, "I am washing the dishes," or "I am cleaning the table." Talking to yourself helps you practice using English in everyday situations. It also helps you get used to thinking in English. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. If you like writing, you can keep a diary in English. Every day, you can write a few sentences about what you did or how you feel. For example, you can write, "Today I went to the park," or "I feel happy because it is sunny." Writing in a diary helps you practice using English and helps you remember new words and phrases. It's also a good way to track your progress and see how much you have improved over time. It's important to remember that learning a language is a journey. There will be times when it feels easy and times when it feels hard. That's okay. The most important thing is to keep going. Even if you only practice for a few minutes each day, you are making progress. The more you practice, the better you will get. How to understand different types of English and helps you become more confident in your speaking. If you are feeling stuck or frustrated, it's okay to take a break. Learning a language takes time, and it's important to be patient with yourself. Sometimes, taking a short break can help you come back with a fresh mind. After a break, you might find that things are easier to understand. The important thing is to keep going and not give up. You can also join online groups or forums where people practice English. These groups give you a chance to talk to people from all over the world who are also learning English. You can ask questions, share tips, and practice having conversations. It's a great way to meet new people and learn from each other. In conclusion, learning English takes time, patience, and practice. The more you practice, the better you will get. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and remember to ask questions when you need help. Keep practicing every day, even if only for a few minutes. Little by little, you will improve and become more confident in speaking English. Keep going and don't give up. You are doing a great job. Thank you for listening. I hope you feel more confident about speaking English now. Just remember to smile, be polite, and keep practicing. You are doing great. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell notification so that you never miss new updates. Have a nice day.